Last Saturday, I said the death of two young men changed the course of the world's two biggest rivals, American conservative leader Charlie Kirk and then the Chinese actor Yu Menglong. Now, since Yu's death, the authorities rushed to censor it. This case is so dark that it reads worse than a mafia movie. Sex, violence, money laundering, murder, corruption, and abuse of power. Mark my words, unlike the other cases of social injustice that we've seen, this one will change history. It may not be the single event that topples the CCP, but it will be the one that wakes the Chinese people, and there will be no turning back. Let me first talk about who this man is. Well, Yu Menglong grew up in an ordinary family in Xinjiang and is a Uyghur descent. I believe that explains his Western-looking features. He is said to be raised by his single mother and is the only child. He became widely known for his role in 2 TV series. And he's said to be a good person. However, his good luck got him into troubles. First, a wealthy woman investor was interested in him, but he refused. He was thus sidelined from the industry for 3 years. During that time, he went to, I think, the countryside or remote China to teach kids. And then from the very beginning of his career, he was harassed by influential men sexually, and he was defiant and tried to fight back. And this eventually led to his death. And the people who caused his demise are the very people he trusted, including his agent and friends. So let me give you the details. Okay, so September 11th, Beijing, Chaoyang district, in an upscale residential compound, Yu Menglong was at a party with over a dozen people he knew. To be exact, 17 people, including himself. By around 6 a.m., the party was over, and his body was discovered downstairs. Police rushed to declare drunken accident, no criminal suspicion. But netizens cried foul because they said that this actor was disciplined, fit, a man with strong tolerance for alcohol, hardly someone to fall drunk from a window. And that window, it's about 1 meter tall, right? So it's a waist level. And there's more. The window had a metal screen, harder to get through. And from the picture of the window that people took from outside, they saw carved scratch marks on the screens, which are signs of a struggle. So why would Yu claw at the window unless he was fighting for his life? And yet none of the party guests have spoken up, not one. And the police instead rushed the case to closure. Every leaked post and photos and videos were deleted. And then came the bombshell. A man calling himself Xiao Li, who was a temporary waiter working that night, told what he saw. He said he served drinks at the party. He said the actor wasn't drinking much at first, but his agent pressured him again and again. And at one point, the agent slipped a white powder from his pocket into Yu's glass. And he clinked glasses with him, forcing Yu to drink. The server, Xiao Li, tried to warn the actor, but he was dragged into the kitchen by a man in black. And the warning was chilling. Stay out of this if you don't want to die. Terrified, the server left his job early. He hid at a friend's house to avoid being followed. His video, of course, was later deleted and removed. Then another long post appeared, describing the party in detail. It said that gathering took place in the penthouse of Yu's longtime friend, a screenwriter. His name is Zhao. And the property's surveillance camera showed that the party lasted from 8:15 to 2:40 a.m., over 6 hours. But at 1:15 a.m., Yu's agent received a mysterious phone call. He looked nervous, then started forcing drinks on the actor. At 1:45, 30 minutes later, he got a second call, and he set out, almost done, just a little longer. 5 minutes later, at 1:50, the surveillance cameras caught Yu being dragged into the elevator by 2 men. He looked drunk. His face was pale, his body weak. He was barely able to speak. So this is when Yu's handlers moved him from the penthouse to another unit on the 5th floor, a rental unit. At 2 a.m., his agent got a third call, And when it ended, he told everyone to leave. Strangely, all 3 calls came from the same virtual number. That number has since been deactivated. As far as who it belonged to, no one knows. And the screenwriter owner of the penthouse apartment rushed to move out after people left. His neighbor recalled, at 4 a.m., he said, "I woke up to the sound of things being moved. I saw 4 men in black carrying cardboard boxes out of Zhao's apartment. Not furniture, just boxes. And Zhao looked frantic, staring at his phone. Then he left in a black SUV with no license plates." Police later confirmed that this Zhao, the host of the party, is now missing. His phone has gone dark. So it was said, according to various internet posts, it was said that the actor was tortured and gang raped in the unit on the 5th floor, and he fell from the window and died. So this points to the man who called his agent 3 times. Who is he? It seems that he's the one who caused Mr. Yu's death, but he didn't act alone. He had his helpers at the party. Now, in any other country, the people at the party would be the first to face police questioning. But in China, every single guest has vanished. Not a word, no names disclosed. No investigations announced. The official cause of death, accidental falling from drunkenness. But nobody in China believes that. I should say most people do not believe that. So people quickly dug into the background of those at the party. They figured out who they are. So here are some of the names I found on the internet. Now, as far as the big shot who called, in the beginning, they didn't know who that was exactly, but all sources point to one possibility. That is, it is the illegitimate son of a top CCP leader. One insider put it bluntly: the killer who caused Yu Menglong's death has deep political backing. After the incident, powerful people gave direct orders: bury the case, make it disappear. So, and the source was clear, so that the man behind it all is at least vice state level or higher. And the man at the center of the case was allegedly the 33-year-old, his name is Xingqi. That's his pen name. It's not his real name. So this Xingqi guy was made the owner of an energy company at age 22 and rose quickly to be an award-winning producer, a movie critic. Now in China, if you don't have political backing, that kind of career track is impossible. And he's reportedly either homosexual or bisexual. So why did he want to kill the actor? Whistleblowers say Yu Menglong had been targeted by the producer from the very start of his career. At first, Xingqi, the producer, simply wanted to force Yu into a relationship, but the actor was reluctant. But Xing harassed him and positioned himself as Yu's biggest fan and benefactor. In fact, Yu's very first fan club was controlled by the producer. So for years, the actor lived under Xingqi's harassment and control. Later, Yu discovered evidence of Xingqi's money laundering activities and saved it on a USB drive. And Xingqi eventually found out about it. Maybe the actor hoped to use that USB as leverage to free himself. Instead, it cost his life. That's when the party was set up. It's believed that Xingqi tried to torture Yu sexually and violently to force him to reveal where the USB was, but Yu didn't give in. The torture was captured on videos as they planned to use the compromising footage for blackmail later. Someone, we don't know how, leaked the blurry videos. You can be seen being beaten, and from his screams, it's clear that he was tortured with sharp objects. And from his broken words, we can piece together his despair. He said that he'd been harassed since the age 25, that he had lost all hope, and that only death could free him from being played to death. In the earliest leaked clips, Yu still shouted his defiance, swearing that he would never submit. But in later footage, he appeared barely alive. No strength left, no voice, perhaps unconscious or already dead. So the fall may have been nothing more than a staged ending, and it was arranged, right, by the perpetrators, making it look like an accident. And another source provided even more shocking details. It claimed that the actor had been held captive since September 8th or 9th, days before that party at the apartment. And that's when his torture began. His captors demanded him turn in the USB drive. The actor refused. He later allegedly swallowed it. Knowing the actor feared height, his captors hung him upside down outside the window, and Yu screamed. Neighbors confirmed they heard the screams, and they saw shadows in the window, figures moving. And Yu then allegedly fell accidentally, and he landed on the grass outside. The attackers took him to a private hospital. They cut him open, retrieved the USB drive from his stomach. After the surgery, they brought him back. They dressed him in new clothes and staged a second fall at the building's entrance. And that's the photo that everyone saw. And sharp-eyed netizens noticed something, in the photo, that beneath the blue shirt that you wore, a strip of white appeared, which looked like bandages. So you might think, how did they dare to carry out such atrocities in broad daylight? Aren't they afraid that people would find out? There's another conversation that got leaked. It was between two security guards, or at least one security guard talking to a friend. And what they said was that the family owns the residential complexes and controls the company providing security to the buildings. And not just this security company, all of them in the area. And that explains why these people are so flagrantly atrocious. The overwhelming flood of rumors, despite differences in detail, all point to the 33-year-old producer Xin Qi, who is said to be the secret son of Cai Qi. Now, there is another person who is from Mr. Cai Shengkun, who is a U.S.-based political commentator, who is quite a reliable source. And he obtained information from Beijing, suggesting that the producer is actually a relative of Xi Jinping. And his sources told him that only power from the very top could allow a young man rise to such prominence in the film industry so quickly at such a young age. So whether the man here is tied to Cai Qi or Xi Jinping, it's problematic for Xi Jinping. Let me talk about the impact of this case. It has sent shockwaves not only through China, but also across Asia, especially in Hong Kong and Taiwan, or other countries where there's a large Chinese-speaking populations, like Singapore or Malaysia, because the entertainment industries are deeply connected. Stars and celebrities are shaken. If one of their own can be abused, assaulted, and murdered by the children of the powerful, what safety do they have in CCP China? For ordinary Chinese, the realization is even more devastating. They realize how dark and toxic the entertainment industry is. If a star can be tortured and murdered for pleasure without consequences, then their country is broken and its rulers are criminals. And there's no hope for them or for their children unless people do something now. Now, like I said, Yu was not the first male actor to die from this type of sexual abuse. Others before him, that has happened to others. And there's a commonality. They all came from humble families. Meanwhile, the authorities unleashed massive censorship on Weibo, Douyin, which is China's TikTok, and Red Note. Comments demanding justice were deleted by the millions. You know what people do? The Chinese are smart. They flooded government's official social media accounts to have their voices heard. So like the Beijing Culture and Tourism Bureau's social media account saw 680,000 comments in just a few hours, all demanding justice. The official website of China's court received 230 comments demanding an investigation. All of them swiftly erased. So the authorities then shut down the comments section on their official accounts. Now, his death has awakened China. People now see the truth. The regime that allows its elites to rape, kill, and cover up with impunity is nothing more than a criminal enterprise. This is the sky of Beijing a few days after the actor died. The clouds twisted into strange shapes, and it's covered up the sky. And many people said it was heaven's wrath. And insiders say Yu's family is still drowning in grief, especially his mother. And when she got the call about her son's death, this woman who's in her 70s collapsed on the spot. And when she regained consciousness, she broke down completely. And her emotions remain unstable to this day. Her only child, gone without explanation. And what tortures her most is not just that he died, but what he went through before his death. At a political level, after Yu's death won't just widen the bitter rift between ordinary citizens and privileged CCP elites. It will also become a weapon for anti-Xi forces to take down Xi Jinping and his followers. And that's why this moment matters.